Welcome back to another Hearthstone Report. We have a special episode today. All the remaining cards that are going to complete the Ashes of Outland expansion have been revealed, and we're going to go through each and every one of those, including all the new Demon Hunter cards and all the Hearthstone news that you need to start properly into the new expansion and the new year. So, JJ, what up?
Well, first of all, we got we got a patch recently, which introduced the rotation for the Hall of Fame cards, as well as the new Priest cards. Stuff we talked about before. It also added the Illidan hero to Battlegrounds, which they also announced beforehand. But it did a couple of things that people aren't necessarily as drawn to attention-wise. So we just wanted to bring attention to that.
What are those?
First one is that Cobalt Guardian has been removed from the minion pool in Battlegrounds.
That is huge. Don't underestimate that sneaky thing. That is massive.
It's very easy to miss, even in the patch notes. It's just this tiny little note.
One of the most important minions has been removed from Battlegrounds. That one was a game changer.
But also 2 new minions have been added. One of which is the Deflecto Bot, which is a rank 3 3/2 mech with Divine Shield. Whenever you summon a mech during combat, gain +1 attack and Divine Shield.
You might as well have just kept Cobalt Guardian and just changed its text, right? You don't need to introduce a new minion for it. Because it's very similar.
Well, I suppose they're trying to not change too many of the Battlegrounds minions that also exist in regular, Wild at the very least.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is a bit of a strange choice, but there is, there's that.
Yeah. It's slightly worse. It's worse than regular Cobalt Guardian, but not much.
Is it though?
A little bit, I think. Yeah, it's a faster worse.
Yeah, but it does get extra attack. I mean, it's.
I mean, also it has to be during combat also. So like first turn you can't put it to the left and just that's it.
Well, but it has Divine Shield by default.
Oh, it does have Divine Shield by default. Yeah. So I think with the attack is a bit less. So it's slightly worse, but it's not terrible. They could have just changed the other one, but it's fine, I guess.
They also added Felfin Navigator, which is a 3-star 4/4 Murloc. Battlecry, give your other Murlocs +1/+1. We'll talk about that again later for standard, but right now, that's what it is.
Seems pretty good, I think. As a budget per Gurgle sort of thing, it's one of those cards that you just rotate through, right? It's Murloc 2, so slight upside of having that same trait. And I think it's strong if you want to rotate those along with the Cobalt Seer. There's another attack buff you get. It's not bad.
Yeah, and also you mentioned the Seer, but there really isn't that many buffs for Murlocs. So there's Gurgle and there's the Seer.
Yeah.
And now there's an extra one. So I think
there's War Leader, but it's passive.
Yeah. This is starting to be more comparable now to other tribes.
Yeah.
Which
on
the
Demons,
one hand,
for example, where you get all of those long-term buffs.
Yeah. On the one hand, that's a good thing for making it more competitive. On the other hand, of course, homogenizing it too much is potentially a problem for their individual identities. We'll see.
Yeah.
The final card changes are live now. Dr. Boom, Giggling Inventor, Raiding Party, and Reckless Experimenter.
Boom is back to the old power level. Huge.
We talked about those already, so just mentioning it. Zephyrus has once again been changed. As I said, the Priest stuff is now alive, and the rank overhaul is coming soon. It's a lot of stuff we talked about already.
Anything specific we need to know about the Zephyrus change?
I don't think so. I mean, if you want to know it more specifically, read it by yourself. Either pause the video or go to the website.
Basically, what they did is they reworked the algorithm of it, so he'll find stuff as best as possible, because there's a lot of fringe situations that people keep finding where he flat out misses the best card, and that, of course, they're trying to avoid.
The duplicate protection is now live. That's the main thing that the patch is known for.
It is live. You can now open your packs.
Yes.
Go ahead.
The one final thing in this patch note that I don't think we knew before, though I'm not certain, is the arena rotation, which the next one just looks exactly like standard.
It's the exact standard set.
Which is what it used to be for the longest time anyway, so I guess I just didn't want to put a lot of effort into it since no one plays arena anyways.
It's fine. I mean, you want to show off all the new stuff you have and all the modes. It makes sense.
Next up, we got cards.
We have cards, and we have a lot of cards. So Demon Hunter?
We're starting with the Demon Hunter cards that are not in Ashes of Outlands. We're starting with basic right now. We got the Shadow Hoof Slayer, which is a 1-mana 2/1 demon with Battlecry. Give your hero +1 attack this turn.
That's a very strong one-drop. I mean, you get the hero power for free, essentially. So yeah, that's a really good one to play on one. Especially, I want to say, if you maybe go second.
Yes, because you might be able to ping something off with the hero power.
And you might coin your hero power with it to remove 2 attack minions.
2 health minions, yeah. We also got another minion, which is the Sightless Watcher. Funny design. Which is a 2-mana 3/2 demon. Battlecry, look at 3 cards in your deck, choose 1 to put on top.
Yeah, I mean it's built like a meme card with the name obviously, and then the art and everything. But this actually seems pretty good for a 3-drop. It's first of all, it's vanilla stats, and getting to essentially get to discover a card from your deck, which is basically what this is almost. You don't draw it immediately, but you do next turn, is pretty good.
I'll compare it to like a slower version of tracking, maybe.
Kind of, yeah. But those also, like these cards also don't get discarded either, so that's something. And it has a minion body attached to it, so you essentially don't pay mana for the effect, which is pretty good.
Yeah. We also got 2 other basic cards, which are the Glavebound Adept, which is a 5-mana 7/4. If your hero attacked this turn, deal 4 damage.
So once again, stat very aggressively, as is supposed to be the class identity for Demon Hunter. And your hero attacks a lot, let me just say that. So this is going to be active more often than not.
Yeah, I mean, this reminds me a little bit of the one card that Mage had with Secrets, right? If you played a Secret, deal 6. If you have a Secret, deal 6.
Prince, yeah.
That kind of a idea, and this one seems almost stronger.
Because you have to attack a lot, yeah, absolutely.
And finally, we got probably the worst basic card, which is the 8-mana Demon Hunter spell, Inner Demon. Give your hero +8 attack this turn.
Worst basic card? Are you gonna make that statement on video? Oh wait, you already did.
I believe I said, or at least went of the new ones, but it might be altogether. I'm not sure. Basic Demon Hunter card.
The Demon Hunter ones, right?
Yeah.
I'm not sure if that's true. I think because it's a high potential card. Because the effect is a very high potential.
I guess. I mean, it seems very inefficient to only get 8 attack for 8 mana, but then again, you could of course put it in the face, so it's almost like a small pyroblast.
Yeah, and I mean you can like, of course, the what comes to mind is you play Kael'thas, you play the twin spell that gives you 2
right,
slicing whatever, and you basically get 6 mana 10 damage in a turn.
That's true.
On 6 if you want it, if you get together, so that's a lot more, of course.
Okay, so there is potential in this card for sure.
There's definitely potential for it, yeah.
Also got 4 new cards, or the 4 remaining cards, I should say, from the Demon Hunter Initiate set.
By the way, if you want to see the other ones that we just didn't cover, we did that in an earlier video. You can check out the previous Hearthstone reports on our channel if you want to get the full coverage on those. And these are also new ones, Battlefiend.
Yes, it's another pretty good one-drop. It's a 1-mana 2/2 demon, which is already pretty good, with after hero attacks, gain +1 attack.
So this is probably the strongest one-drop we've had in the game, because you rarely see a 1-mana 2/2 essentially is considered for a class card, right? We had Enchanted Raven, for example, and we have Battle Mage now, Blazing Battle Mage, which is neutral.
Yeah.
Which it was a slight power creep, slightly better. This one is a class card again, but it also has a positive effect. So this will oftentimes just be a 3/2.
I mean, this reminds me a little bit of Henchclan Thug, right? It doesn't get the health buff, which is a significant difference, but it also has like effectively 1/1 better stats for its cost.
Yeah, you can play this on 2 plus hero power. You have a 3/2.
Yeah, or you can play it on 1 and then just attack some way on 2 and have a 3/2 right then and there.
Absolutely.
Of course, 2-mana 3/2 is not particularly spectacular.
Imagine there's going to be some super aggro starts where you get this on 1, and on 2 you get it again and hero power. So you have 2 3/2s after on 2.
That's crazy stuff. We also got both of the legendaries from the set. One of which is Altruis the Outcast, a 3-mana 3/2. After you play the left or rightmost card in your hand, which the Outcast mechanic wants you to anyways, deal 1 damage to all enemies.
So basically this wants you to play Outcast cards, and it makes sense as a support for that mechanic. Because,
and it doesn't even have to actually be Outcast cards, is the thing.
No, it just has to be left or right. But it goes with the same idea.
It's 1 mana point understated, and it casts a better version of Arcane Explosion every time you play a card from a specific thing.
That's good.
Comparison that comes to mind somewhat is Stargazer Luna. Of course, the effect is very different. And Luna had the advantage or disadvantage, you can look at it however you like, that it refreshes itself with the draw.
It's a one-sided Wild Pyro.
And
it goes for left and right.
Yeah, which is, in theory, very easy to do, right? Especially if you have some cheap cards lined up on the left, you can just keep throwing them all out.
Absolutely. Seems very strong.
Very high potential. I mean, it's 1 mana understated for a very strong effect. To be fair, it's a legendary, but you know. Next up we got Soul Split. Choose a friendly demon, summon a copy of it.
Now this works best with big demons, obviously. So and there are some very big demons. There's Magtheridon, if I may remind you of it.
And there is also the old the 10-6 that Demon Hunter gets.
That's Jumbo Imp and stuff. So there's big demon. I'm seeing this follow up for Magtheridon.
Is Jumbo Imp neutral? Is that a Warlock card?
Is it a Warlock card? It might be a Warlock card.
I'm not sure actually.
I'm not sure either.
No, I think it might be
thought
neutral,
it was neutral.
I think you're right actually. Yeah. It's hard to remember because you don't play demons in neutral usually.
Yeah, you don't play it in any other class with Warlock. That's actually potentially a future thing that we should quiz on. Is this card neutral or class? Because sometimes you just don't know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it seems like it's class, but it's not.
I mean, I'm sure sometimes they just have a card for a class, and they're like, oh, we already have too many cards for that class, and we're still having some space in neutral, and just put it in neutral anyways, because other classes aren't going to use it either way.
Yeah, but this is very good on big stuff, occasionally very strong, occasionally not so strong.
Yeah, but I assume if you're building a deck that includes this, it's going to be really strong. And finally for the Demon Hunter cards, well, the Demon Hunter Initiate cards, Nethrandomus, 9 mana 8/8 dragon, Battle Cry, summon 2 random 0-cost minions, upgrades each time a friendly minion dies.
I suppose it's Nethrandomus, and it's a Nostradamus reference or something? I don't know.
It is Nethrandomus, yes.
Yeah, that's how it's pronounced. So this obviously is basically a Dragon Queen when you've held it for a couple turns and a couple of friendly deaths. So it kind of combines Corridor Creeper with Dragon Queen Alexstrasza in a bit of a way, which are 2 incredibly strong cards, obviously. So I'm expecting this to be very, very good, especially you have all the Illidan and stuff, the little rush guys that sack themselves, like you draw this blade and you have the guys upgraded.
Yeah, and you have to look at it also that this is, as you said, it's kind of comparable to Alexstrasza, and it doesn't have the deck building restriction.
True, yeah. And though it's a class card, so obviously
it's a class card,
not as impressive, but good.
And you can't play it very effectively the turn you draw it, is the one disadvantage as well. But it might be a decent keep in the early game.
Maybe.
If you really want to. So, Ashes of Outland, the main thing, sort of. Starting with Isel Windsinger, which seems very familiar. It's a Druid legendary. It's a 9 mana 5/5, which just reads, your spells cost 1.
So it's basically exactly like Aviana in the beginning, but it's obviously spells on minions.
Yep.
So with Aviana it was minions, and they had to change it because it was broken with Kun the Forgotten King later. I had to change it from 9 to 10 mana. And this one now spells, and of course ideas are rampant, right? What do we do with this? How can we somewhat go crazy with this? And do you have any sort of idea on how to go nuts with this already? Do you have anything you came up with?
Don't really. I mean, obviously,
cards Nourish.
Nourish comes to mind exactly. That gives you more
Biology
mana.
Project rotates out, unfortunately. So you have double Nourish. You play maybe Floops and Biology Project rotate out. So there's a lot less there.
If you have Quest, then Nourish becomes even better, of course, because it also refills your hand. I mean, there's definitely ideas there, but then on the other hand, there's also Kael'thas in the same expansion, which has, in some regards, similar effects, and we've seen people, especially with Druid, use it with, at least in Wild, with a lot of the, like, 0 and 1 mana spells that they already have.
And then bang Ultimate Infestation.
Yeah, Ultimate Infestation and Overflow are both pretty good.
So yeah, this is one to be creative with. Just come up with combos, and maybe it's...
You always have to consider, for depending on what combo you're building, if this or Kael'thas makes more sense, of course. Kael'thas takes more setup, but this is also more expensive.
Kael'thas comes on earlier.
Yeah, Germination. It's also a Druid card, it's a spell. Summon a copy of a friendly minion, give the copy Taunt.
So, should be better than the Demon Hunter card, because there's no tribal restriction, plus you get Taunt.
Yes.
Anything obvious right now to play this on?
But I mean, optimally something with a strong passive effect, or just huge stats, right?
Right, so maybe an Embiggen, but that stuff usually has Taunt anyway.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you might still take it.
Yeah, sure.
4 mana copy of a minion, even if it doesn't give the extra taunt. Can't think of anything particularly crazy, but there are probably some ideas. We got a epic hunter spell, 10 mana, Nagrand Slam. Summon 4 3/5 cleft hoofs that attack random enemies.
So, Nagrand obviously is a zone in Outland, and Grand Slam is obviously the pun that comes with it. That being said, this seems like a lot better than Flog's Boomzooka.
Yes, probably. And also, you have to consider that effectively what you're getting is, against aggro decks, you're getting some pretty good removal, and you're getting a lot of stats for 10 mana.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's a lot better. In Boomzooka, you keep the minions if you don't kill themselves upon the attack. They don't get removed from your deck. And it seems like really good value. It's 4 beasts. I would imagine that they're beasts.
Yes, they're beasts. I did
and
show
on
the
empty board is
for a while there.
Some of the best value you can play. So looks very good.
I mean, the question is just, is there going to be a deck that can make very effective use of it? Quest comes to mind. But maybe some other control-ish variety of honor. We got a Demon Hunter card here, which is the Priestess of Fury, 7 mana 6/7 demon. At the end of your turn, deal 6 damage, randomly split among all enemies.
This seems very strong. This is 1 cost up from Ogre, and it deals 6.
Yes.
Which is really strong.
I mean, almost worst case, it fireballs your opponent, but then again, you're a very aggressive class, so maybe that is the best case, who knows?
That's the best case, right? You play on empty board, I mean, wow.
And this is also a good target for the duplication card, of course.
Yeah, it's a demon, and you get the double the effect.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, you're just board clearing every turn, and you're probably dealing some incidental face damage as well.
Wow. I have the feeling Demon Hunter might be broken. God damn.
Yeah, that's what I was saying from the get-go. All of the Demon Hunter cards seem very strong. Or
They're
almost
very
all of them
strong.
at the very least. I assume we're going to see some major nerfs across the board if Demon Hunter is too dominant.
Yeah, don't dust any Demon Hunter cards at the beginning. They're like half of them will be nerfed, and you'll get full dust refunds.
I wonder if they give full dust refunds for the cards that they give out for free in the Initiate set.
Doubtful. But we'll see.
Speaking of Demon Hunter cards, 6 mana 8/3 Fell Summoner. Death Rattle, summon a random demon from your hand.
If this hits Magtheridon, does he go dormant? No.
Is it part dormant? I believe is not part of the battle cry, is it? I don't know. If
he does go dormant, then it's not as great. But if he doesn't, of course, it's a big target.
Yeah.
Still, though, very aggressively statted, like we've seen most of them.
Yeah, I mean, this is a comparison would probably be Possessed Lackey. It's a little more predictable because it's from hand. Because Possessed Lackey was from deck, right?
And Possessed Lackey was a 2/2 for 6 mana.
Yes.
But it did pull from deck, which is, of course...
It used to be 5, right?
Yeah, it used to be 5, got nerfed to 6. It used to pull from deck, of course, which is, I guess, better.
Well, here's the thing, right? It's more predictable if it's from hand.
Yeah.
If you can trigger the Death Rattle intentionally. but it is, of course, card disadvantage because you're losing a card from hand. So it has a little bit of both.
Exactly.
Next up, unless you want to say more about that, is Iron
No,
Bark.
sorry.
2-mana druid spell, give a minion +1/+3 and taunt. Cost 0 if you have at least 7 mana crystals.
Which is going to be at any point past turn 7 or earlier if you manage to ramp up. So if this costs 2, is not particularly great, but if it costs 0, it's just a good buff.
I mean, the thing also is if you put it on a big minion, giving it a lot of health and taunt isn't horrible for 2. Granted, you're probably not going to have huge minions before turn 7 anyways, but so it's not horrible either way, and yes, it has a better version of Omega. I mean, what is there to say, right? Coilfang Warlord, Demon Hunter, 8 mana, 9/5, Rush, Death Rattle, summon a 5/9 Warlord with Taunt. The Warlord is, well, just that. It's a 5/9 with Taunt.
So that's a lot. That's another lot of value, man. That seems like a very defensive card because you essentially clear a minion with the Rush, and then you also lock down because a 5/9 taunt is very strong. Remember Sagoth the Slitherer?
Yes.
For example?
I don't think that this is a good card for most Demon Hunter playstyles is the thing. But
it's defensive.
If you can build a more control-oriented Demon Hunter, this card is insane.
Yeah, very, very strong. Maybe an arena or something.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be a great arena card, of course. Glowfly Swarm. Summon a 2/2 Glowfly for each spell in your hand. So Druid wants to do spells.
Spells, huh? I think token makes a lot of sense, right? Because a lot of token Druid, like a lot of the tokens in Druid are summoned from spells already. Like Force Nature and stuff, Force Aid. There is a lot of spells in token Druid.
And there was a period where people would run a 5-mana summon 3/2 Treants, so, you know. Granted,
which is still the case. It's Force of Nature.
Granted, the reason why they played is because of Treant synergy and because 5+ spell synergy right now. But Glowfly Swarm seems oftentimes better.
It seems pretty good. So we'll have to see.
Another Demon Hunter card, 1-mana 2/1. Dude, they get a lot of 1-mana 2/1s and 2/2s.
They do,
you know.
yeah.
Crimson Sigil Runner, Outcast, draw a card.
I mean, they're aggressive class, so I guess it makes sense for them to get those. So this is what the thing. If you get this on the mulligan, you almost want to kill everything. You want to keep this in your on the leftmost side, or if you can, of course, draw.
The mulligan redraws the cards in the position that you dropped them from.
Ultimately, you want it on the leftmost side, but you also, if you draw at any point in the game, you can play it for one and replace
That's
itself.
That's what I was thinking, right?
Seems
1-mana self-replacing cards are generally relatively strong, no matter what, almost.
Absolutely.
Having good stats helps.
Very similar to old Power Word Shield in that.
Yeah. In Magic the Gathering, they call those cards cantrips, the ones that cost 1 mana and draw your card.
Makes sense.
There's a big spell for Mage. 8 mana spell Deep Freeze. Freeze an enemy. Summon 2 3/6 water elementals.
For 8 mana? Okay, that's a lot of mana.
But water elementals are 4-drops. Not that anyone plays them usually.
Yeah.
But
question is just, okay, this is obviously about more control-ish. Isn't it better to just play Blizzard for 2 less? If you're playing control anyway.
Probably.
You have to Flame Strikes the Blizzards. You have so much of that stuff. Is this sensible?
The elementals have the advantage that once they go live, they can also start freezing other stuff again. But I would think that this is not a good card, particularly, though math says it's not horrible, because you have Freezing Potion plus 2 water elementals.
Yeah.
And of course, all of that being in one card adds a little bit of extra value to it, and the mana is the exact same as Freezing Potion plus 2 water elementals.
The question is just, would you ever really want 2 water elementals for even just on your hand to play, right? If they had Taunt, that'd be a different story.
I mean, yeah, I think this isn't great. Demon Hunter, 4 mana 3/3, Ash Tongue Battlelord, 3/5, sorry. Taunt Lifesteal.
Sentient Shield Master on Suicide Watch, another clear power creep that we've gotten, but seems like a defensive card.
Yeah.
for Demon Hunter again. So this is not with the mostly intended playstyle.
To be fair, it might help though if you attack a lot with your face, and maybe Control Demon Hunter or even mid-range Demon Hunter will become a thing, because the hero power can be used in a controlling manner, and then you do have a somewhat significant amount of lifesteal effects in there as well.
Right.
Who knows? Scrap Shot, Hunter Spell, 4 mana, deal 3 damage, give a random beast in your hand +3/+3.
Reminds me a bit of Flanking Strike, because it dealt 3 and it summoned a 3/3.
My first thought was Cobra Shot, because it deals 3 and has a bonus effect as well, but obviously your comparison is better.
I think it's just the worst though, because you don't get the stats on board right away. But Flanking Strike was very good, of course. Not sure how good this one's gonna be.
I'm not a huge fan right now, but we'll see. Another Hunter spell, as a matter of fact, a secret. Pack Tactics, secret. When a friendly minion is attacked, summon a 3/3 copy.
This could potentially go in a Phase Hunter, in a very aggressive Hunter.
Yeah, this could also go in any sort of like Death Rattle Hunter or anything like that. Anything that has minions with a lot of stuff on their card on top of stats. Because obviously it doesn't retain the stats. A 2 mana 3/3.
I think versatile.
A 2 mana 3/3 is
good
very
replacement
strong.
for Rat Trap. Good replacement for Rat Trap and just those Hunter decks that need a secret.
Yeah, I don't hate it. It seems pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Hellbore. Speaking of Hunter, a 1 mana 2/1 beast. Speaking of 1 mana 2/1s, right?
Oh.
They really like those this expansion. Death Rattle, give a random beast in your hand +1/+1.
So Beast Hunter, we're going back?
Beast hand buff seems to be a thing.
Beast Hand Buff Hunter.
Goes well with the hypothetical Smuggler's Crate that you can't run in Standard.
I guess.
I wonder if that's going to be part of the same arena rotation at one point.
Oh, maybe. It might. It's decent value. 2/1 is not bad, and the Death Rattle is useful. So Fiery Bat maybe as a comparison, but this one obviously buffs. You can hit a pretty good curve with this if you hit the 2-drop, and it might be worth it.
I don't think anyone will specifically run this for the Death Rattle, but because it's a pretty good 1-drop with a beneficial Death Rattle, people might run it.
They might just play it in aggressive Beast
Also,
Hunters. Yeah.
goes decently well with the aforementioned secret, right? You play this on 1, you play the secret on 2, you...
Yeah. Might get another one.
Overgrowth. 4 mana Druid spell, gain 2 empty mana crystals.
Boy, so they nerfed Wild Growth from 2 to 3 mana once. Now they print a 4 mana spell that gives you 2 empty crystals.
Well, yes, so because to be fair, if you would play Wild Growth on 2, if you played Wild Growth on 2, you could play this on 3.
Yeah, I get that it's worse because you get the ramp later, which is worse than getting it earlier.
Yes.
So it's worse than 2 individual 2 mana Wild Growths. But they kind of wanted to move away from the ramping in Druid, right? And now we got Dragon's Breath, and now we've gotten this.
Oh, right, yeah. Play Dragon's Breath, play this. Yeah, oh boy.
So we're going right back.
Apparently.
I think Druid is a dark horse for a dominating class next expansion.
Speaking of Druid, Bog Beam. 3 mana, deal 3 damage to a minion. Cost 0 if you have at least 7 mana crystals, so that's a theme.
Yeah, and you can play this the turn after you play Overgrowth because you'll have 7 mana.
Dude, they print ramp
active.
And a mechanic that wants you to have 7 mana crystals.
Yeah.
In the same expansion.
It works pretty well together.
Okay, 3 mana, deal 3 damage to a minion is horrible. Or at least pretty bad.
It's not great, of course.
0 mana, deal 3 damage to a minion, you might run that.
That's pretty good.
Nether Walker, 2 mana, 2/2 Demon Hunter Minion. Battlecry, discover a demon.
I think this is very useful. It's not too badly statted. It's just 1 point of health or attack low. And it's a useful effect. I mean, discovering is probably appropriate for this. You could have gone random demon, but at the point where you put it at 2/2,
yeah,
I think discovering is fine, and you can always get a good curve out of this too, because a lot of cheap demons.
It seems kind of familiar, doesn't it? Where it's like 1 point below where it should be at, sort of direction. Battlecry discover out of a small set Well, actually, not that small even. Noteworthy, of course, because it is Discover. That means it's only Demon Hunter and Neutral. It does not include Warlock Demons.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, but it just might be better if it doesn't.
It might be. It might be.
Speaking of Demon Hunter, Immolation Aura, 2-mana spell, deal 1 damage to all minions twice.
So basically just double. It's just 2 whirlwinds. That's what this is.
Yes. Of course, noteworthy, dealing 1 damage twice versus 2 damage is very different. It deals with Reborns better. It does, of course, not deal as well with Frothing Berserkers and the like.
Yep, but it has an effect on things like Frothing Berserker also.
So let's go through all the cards that Blizzard put in a weird place in the sorting because of,
we have to kind of scurry through the list to find all the cards that we haven't checked out yet.
Font of Power, 1-mana mage spell, discover a mage minion. If your deck has no minions, keep all 3.
So we've had this very similar effect. It's supposed to go into the all spell mage, and it's gonna give you extra minions if you don't have any, which we have seen very similar things.
Crystal Song Portal seemed strong. This is weaker because mage minions are weaker than druid minions, I would argue. And the restriction is a lot crazier, so maybe this makes the all spell mage viable though, because you actually have a way to get a decent amount of minions. Incanter's Flow. 2 mana reduce the cost of spells in your deck by 1.
This could be out of hand a little bit. This is, of course, the card that would make the all-spell mage viable, because it's essentially, it's very, very strong if this happens. So, and it's not even legend. It's a common. You can play 2 of those, and I'm concerned.
This card doesn't even scream all-spell mage to me as much as it screams like something like mostly spell sort of a mage, because this enables even crazier Kalthoses, for example. This would in theory go well with... Wait, actually, remind me, Vargoth, he stays, right?
Vargoth stays. He's
so that it goes well with that, because you get the reduction twice.
Painful.
So I think there's a lot of minions... Well, there's a handful of minions that would go really well with this card.
We'll have to wait and see.
So maybe you'll play a deck that contains like 2 or 3 minions, and then you just include the all spell cards anyways, hoping that you draw the minions first, or maybe even provoke it somehow. Netherwind Portal, 3-mana mage secret. After your opponent casts a spell, summon a random 4-drop.
Okay, how good is the average 4-drop? Is this better than Mirror Entity?
Probably because it's harder to play around. Average 4-drop, I don't even know. But it's probably gonna be... I would generally expect for the random minion that the stats are like a mana cost on both ends, right?
Yeah,
so
I gotta say I don't love it because it's more randomized, right? It's a secret you really can't do anything about. There's already too many spell interactive made secrets as it is. There's 2 of them, which is the appropriate amount, and this one you can't help do anything about it. It's gonna be completely out of your control how strong the result for your opponent will be.
This this can go either way, right? When you play it, that's also another just very random effect in Mage, of course. We got the Star Scryer, also from Mage, 2-mana 3/1, Death Rattle, draw a spell.
That's obviously not going to the all-spell mage, but this would be one of the ones that you were talking about, right? Like a minion that just supports
not
spells.
Even as much, but a little bit, yeah. I was thinking about the ones that really maximize the potential of the cards, like the reduction, where it's like you could play even more spells.
Seems versatile. Seems like it would never break anything, but be useful in certain situations, so I like it.
Yeah, it's not horrible. Eldor Attendant, that comes up with a thing that we have to talk about later, the Librams. 2-mana 2/3 Battlecry, reduce the cost of your Librams by 1 this game. For now, let's just say that Librams are a special subset of spells. We'll get into
and they're paladin specific.
Yes, they're paladin specific.
Which later means that this card is very good in any deck that supports those.
This is vanilla stats, positive Battlecry, good card.
Yeah.
Elder Truth Seeker, 5 mana 4/6, Taunt, Battlecry, reduce the cost of your Librams by 2 this game.
That's also very good and goes in the same deck.
Yes, similar idea. Of course, the first spell we get is not a Libram. Hand of a Doll. Give 2 mana, give a minion +2/+2, draw a card.
Seems very versatile. I mean, the 2/2 for 2 is fine. Probably about balance, maybe a bit weak, but with drawing a card, it's on the stronger side.
Yeah. Imprisoned Sun Guild. This is interesting because all of the other imprisoned cards were demons. This is a Murloc for some reason. 1 mana 2/1. Oh god, we've had a lot of those today. Dormant for 2 turns. When this awakens, summon 2 1/1 Murlocs.
So obviously we're going an aggro deck. I guess the point is like you played on 1, and then on 3 the extra Murlocs come in right with the War Leader or the Seer or something.
But on the other hand, yeah, I mean you'd have to have another combo to profit off of this in your Murloc Paladin, because otherwise I'd just prefer playing Tidehunter on 2. With a similar stat line effect.
Yeah.
Let's see. Late Liadrin we did talk about. So once again, there's the Librams. How about those?
There we go.
Restore 8 health. 9 mana Libram of Hope. Restore 8 health. Summon an 8/8 Guardian with Taunt and Divine Shield.
So this obviously could cost 3 if you've played all the reductions. So this could be substantially cheaper, and that's
obviously by the point it costs is you're not going to be able to play this on turn 3 is the thing.
No.
Although you could play it easily on 7 with some of the reductions or with Kalthus. You could go Kalthus, coin, give it plus again any one of the 1-drop paladin spells.
Even for 9 mana, this is an incredible defensive tool.
That's what I thought, right? Because you get the Restore 8, which is like what, about 2 mana worth?
I guess.
If you think about the Druid comparison there. The minion
I think 2 mana is appropriate. The minion is just 8 mana, basically.
Yeah, the minion is about an 8-drop, I would say. Yeah, so it's effectively already almost 10 mana worth of stuff.
And it's reducible.
Very easily reducible, might I add. Also, by the way, Pure Paladin's gonna be nuts.
Right, it goes in
Pure
there.
Paladin with Librams, right?
It definitely.
Libram of Justice. 6 mana, equip a 1/4 weapon. Change the health of all enemy minions to 1.
Point being, as a control card, of course, you can then just ping off every minion with your weapon.
Yeah, and they did, of course, joke about you could make with some of the reductions, you could make this a 2 mana, what should we call it?
Monster for Battle?
The one that sets everything to 1 health.
Equality.
Yeah. You can make this into 2 mana equality, because, 2 mana equality used to be 2 mana. Libram of Wisdom. This doesn't profit as much from all the reductions, because, but it's Explorer Sat. That's what it is.
It's infinite. And
give a minion +1/+1 and Death Rattle, add this to your hand.
It could cost 0. Very easily. Most of the times it will cost 0.
Yeah.
And for that, the effect is very good.
I mean, we saw Explorer Sat. Again, it's kind of the same idea, except that it's not as easily reducible. And that wasn't great, but it was still, like, it saw some fringe uses. And this can be
I never was around when Explorer Sat was in the game, but I can imagine it'd be pretty good.
There is a funny, like, get all sorts of Infinite Explorer hats combos you can do in Wild, but it's also not particularly viable. Murgurgle! 2 mana, 2/1 Murloc, and it's a Prime, so Divine Shield it has as well. And then Death Rattle, shuffle Murgurgle Prime into your deck. Murgurgle Prime reads 8 mana, 6/3 Murloc, Divine Shield. Battlecry, summon 4 random Murlocs, give them Divine Shield.
Now, I guess it's the time for me, because people are going to make the comparison, for me to announce that for a long time, over a year, I have been completely right and have been the only sole defender about the correct position about Captain Hooktusk against a majority of absolutely delusional people. Captain Hooktusk has been horrible throughout our entire stay in Standard. I said it from day 1. I said it on day 47 and day 129, and it's still true now, and people didn't believe me then, and I just want to note that I was right about Hooktusk all along. That being said, of course, Prime is generally very strong. when are they finally going to run out of names for Murloc cards? I don't know. Hopefully soon, because it's getting much worse. Summoning 4 and the Murloc seems pretty good. As a battle cry specifically.
The thing is that you have to get a lot lucky with this, because playing an 8-drop effectively in a Murloc deck is not exactly the style,
No,
right?
that takes up your turn. That's true.
And also you almost want to have 1 by then. Apotheosis. 3 mana priest spell. Give a minion +2/+3 and lifesteal.
It goes with the control idea that they want to impose on priest. It's the bit of a buff. The lifesteal is very strong, especially with the attack buff. So I think it makes sense to put on some of your taunt minions maybe.
Yeah, it's in a decently strong control tool. We'll see if the correct deck comes around. I'm sure they'll see play. We talked about Overseer, Dragonmoth Sentinel. 2 mana, 1/4, also priest. Battlecry, if you're holding a dragon, gain +1 attack and lifesteal.
Also reminds me of the Rastakan's card, what it's called. The gnome, the little guy. If your opponent has a certain amount of minions, he gets +1 and taunt, and he's a 2/4. So this one gets lifesteal, not taunt, but as a control tool, again, really, really strong. I mean, you play this on 2, your opponent has played a good opener. Say you're playing as Warlock or something, and with just a dragon in your hand, which seems like a condition that can be easily fulfilled. This is very, very good to defend against that early push.
It might be the return of Dragon Priest, my dude.
I mean, yeah, why not include dragons in your control deck? They're very strong.
Yeah. Imprisoned Homunculus. That's the Imprisoned minion for Priest. 1 mana, 2/5 demon. Dormant for 2 turns. Taunt.
Wow. So you put it down on 1, just don't worry about it. Like 2 turns later, you're gonna have a big dude.
Yeah, and it seems pretty good. I mean, you're not gonna do something crazy on 1 in the control deck, and you're gonna be happy for that extra taunt.
So the
and then on 3, the buff goes on him.
It does. The dormancy is not a battle cry, so obviously there's no way to cheat it out and have it not be dormant, which is important. But it looks pretty good.
Play this on 1 Apotheosis, on it on 3. You get a 4/8 lifesteal taunt on 3.
On 3. That's resigns. I mean that's just every aggro that concedes.
Psychic Split. They like a lot of those cards in this expansion as well. Give a minion +1/+2 and summon a copy of it.
So you copy a minion. Both of them get the buff, which is important. So you don't copy it, give the copy +1/+2, but the copy also gets the buff with it, which means that with the extra value, the minion has to be less of a big minion in the beginning to be strong. And you can play this on your imprisoned demon that you just buffed up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, right after the buff, definitely. So yeah, we already have our game plan laid out for how our priest is supposed to play.
Just insane priest, basically.
Yeah, we got a legendary minion for priest. It's a 1 mana 1/3, Reliquary of Souls, Lifesteal, Death Rattle, shuffle Reliquary Prime into your deck, and I can't help but notice that it doesn't show the Prime.
It does not show the Prime.
Do you by any chance know that?
I don't know that. This is a point. It's a really good card. If the Prime is value on mana, it's going to go in decks.
I'll try to remember to put the Prime in the video. It's probably pretty good.
I mean, this is by itself almost the strongest 1-drop in the game already. It's a 1/3 life, for God's sakes.
I mean, yeah, that's why we're saying it's pretty much bound to be strong. Renew. Restore 3 health. Discover a spell for 1 mana. Priest.
Very good. Discovering a spell.
We saw
seems appropriate.
We saw Penance be pretty effective. You're not getting to deal the damage, but that is very strong in Quest Priest, which, I mean, this goes in for sure.
Absolutely.
And it's, in general, Discover a spell for 1 mana isn't even horrible.
And you get the restoration.
Yeah.
It's useful.
I believe did we talk about Veil Weaver? I'm not sure.
Yeah, we did, I think.
Skeletal Dragon, 7 mana, 4/9 dragon. By the way, the cards are sorted wrong, Blizzard. That bugs me. Taunt. At the end of your turn, add a dragon to your hand. This goes into the Dragon Control Priest, I think.
This goes into the same thing we've been talking about for a while, yeah. I mean, yeah, it seems very strong. Of course, this might not even be killed in a couple of turns, so you're getting the extra value out of it. Bit like closest reminder is, I guess, Primordial Drake, though of course the effect is different, but it's a big taunt, right?
Yeah, or you're thinking of something like Bone Drake, where you have the card generation
Yeah, Bone
aspect,
Drake
but
without
not the taunt.
With the taunt though, but you get a dragon, so.
So yeah, I mean it seems
taunt.
relatively strong in its own right, and I can't help but notice that of course like a high roll would be getting an Alexstrasza, for example, the new one.
Oh yeah, any of the aspects.
Yeah. Also, you can of course get non-priest ones, class ones, because it says random. 7 mana legendary priest spell Soul Mirror. Summon copies of enemy minions. They attack their copies.
So most likely board clear in most cases.
I mean, oftentimes it's like a more convoluted Light Bombs, which Light Bombs was a pretty strong control tool. It's one more expensive, but also if they survive, at least you got still an equal board state.
Yeah, exactly.
Where for Light Bombs, if they survive, it's just.
So it summons the copies on your side of the board, which is, I think, the important thing to notice here. It doesn't summon them for your opponent, it summons them for yourself. So what JJ just said, even if they fight and they don't all die, if it didn't, then there would be no upset to this over Mass Hysteria, of course, but which is rotating out, to be fair. But it's a legendary spell, so if they survive, at least you get the copies. And if it's like taunt or something, that's very important, and that might be very, very strong.
This seems like, again, like Light Bombs and Mass Hysteria, kind of, which both were strong, and it seems better than both, but it is more expensive. However, it does fuck up Breast Priest, so...
It does.
Akama we talked about, let's see where we have to go for this. I believe we didn't talk about Ashtongue Slayer, did we?
No.
2 mana, 3/2, Battlecry, give a stealth minion +3 attack and immune this turn.
This is a novelty, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Why would you say that?
So it doesn't say random, so which means that this Battlecry should be able to target stealth minions.
Yes,
which wasn't the case before.
You could target your own stealth minions, that was always the case.
But can you target an opponent's stealth minion?
No, and I assume that this might not be able to either.
Okay, so it should say random friendly then. I guess if that's the case.
It doesn't have to be random, but yeah.
Friendly minion, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't put it on an enemy minion anyways.
No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't. The way that it's worded just made me curious.
Having a 2 mana 3/2 with a very strongly positive Battlecry seems pretty good.
Yeah, I don't like this. I see bad things afoot, unfortunately.
This is also a good candidate for. This is a good candidate for a nerf.
Yeah,
potentially.
Definitely. Hold on to those.
Because I personally would have maybe put it as like a 2/2 with +2, and maybe immune.
Yeah. No need to be 3 attack and immune with no downside. That's plenty strong.
We get another secret for Rogue. They are getting 3 secrets, of course, this expansion again. Bamboozle! When one of your minions is attacked, transform it into a random one that costs 3 more.
I really don't like what they're doing with Rogue. We haven't mentioned it earlier, but we said how like Demon Hunter is going to be strong and Druid's going to be strong. I think Rogue is probably it might not be the most winning class, but it's probably going to be the most annoying class and the least fun to face because of things like this. You get all this stealth, which is, in my opinion, a dubious mechanic. You get secrets, which in my opinion are just a bad mechanic. And you get these incredible swindles out of it. Like this stuff, for example, you have your stealth minion that just had immune +3 and did way more than it ever should have. And then you put some of this, there's nothing you can essentially do to deal with a strategy like this properly if you're playing against it, which is about the worst feeling you can have as a Hearthstone player, because you would like to be able to make conscious decisions and based on those determine the outcome of the game. But also 3 higher is a lot, and this somewhat in the early game played this on 2 can flip games way too early.
I mean, you have to look at this.
I don't like it.
As a harder to control mutate that does actually explosive evolution or whatever it was, explosive mutation, something like that. So I don't even think it's that strong, is the thing.
I think it's very strong. The problem with this, the incredible consistency that it gives to sell-out aggro stuff.
We got a 7-mana 7/5 Cursed Vagrant for Rogue with Death Rattle Summon a 7/5 Shadow with Stealth.
So that's basically a Gravenhold Assassin, which is exactly 7/5 with Stealth, but this one just puts another 7/5 before it for free, essentially. Because Gravenhold Assassin is a 7-mana 7 for Stealth, it's a 7/5 with Stealth. You get this one for free that comes with the Death Rattle. So of course a huge improvement. And tough to deal with. And seems extremely strong.
I like to note that for a while that the design team was going away from stealth. They were doing stealth for one turn with a lot of their cards.
And now which I liked a lot better, by the way.
Now they're going back to stealth, and also they're going back to charge, at least for Demon Hunter. So interesting.
I mean, I don't love the concept of stealth. Of course, it's not a topic that belongs in this video right now, but a generally dubious mechanic to me. The one turn with the shrines, the spirits was fine.
Dirty Tricks, 2-mana Rogue Secret. After your opponent casts a spell, draw 2 cards.
This is probably one of the most acceptable secrets that I've seen for Rogue so far, because it doesn't like affect the board instantly. So this seems like something that's appropriate. I wouldn't say it's very strong.
It seems pretty strong,
obviously.
Though, yeah.
It is pretty strong, but it seems to me more appropriate.
Because it's harder to play around this than like Hidden Wisdom, for example.
Yeah, but here's if I can make this case real quickly. This compared to Bamboozle, and the reason that I like this better than Bamboozle is this one you kind of know what you're gonna get, and as their opponent, you'll be sitting there and you're like, okay, there's a secret there. This is what it might be. I'm going to be ready for that. I'm going to make this decision. If it happens, it happens. With the Bamboozle, again, you get that random effect. Sometimes, right, you're going to get, okay, not in the game anymore, but sometimes your opponent gets a Witch with Grizzly out of it for no apparent reason. It's just random, and you can see the game instantly. And that's just not how you want to lose Hearthstone.
And sometimes they'll get a former champion.
And sometimes they get a former champ, exactly. But the point is that you can get punished for making the right decision through no fault of your own, which is a part of Hearthstone that I would like to see minimized, obviously. And this is why I think Dirty Tricks, even though it might be as a win rate, like consistency point from the Rogue's point of view, probably a better secret. I believe it's a way more acceptable one to play against also. So I see no reason for Bamboozle being printed if they can do stuff like this, basically is what I'm saying.
Greyheart Sage, 3-mana 3/3 rogue minion. Battlecry, if you control a stealth minion, draw 2 cards.
Okay, this is of course very, very strong. And this, I mean, I'm kind of repeating my own points here every single time, but yes, stealth is very, very strong for Rogue, this expansion. And this as a somewhat easy to fulfill condition with drawing 2 this early is concerning to me.
It's Arcane Elect with a body.
Yeah,
it's Arcane Elect with a body and a condition, but still, does seem pretty decent. Spy Mistress. Speaking of stealth, 1-mana 3/1 with stealth.
Yeah, I mean, what's the point of this card, right? Like,
it enables all of the stealth combos, and it's already like really strongly statted to begin with, even without the stealth.
I mean, who would honestly like? I mean, am I really like this removed from reality or something? But is this something that like the player base wants? Like this sort of play style to play with and against? Like, is this really something that people enjoy? Or is it just like Blizzard thinking Rogues must have stealth, so let's build aggressive stealth stuff? Because this just seems like something that... Why? I mean, I might as well watch someone else. Like, why watch a movie than play against a Rogue? Because there's nothing I can do. I can't interact with their minions. And if I do, now they get a random drop for it, and every time that randomness screws me over, I feel even more helpless. So I fundamentally disagree with this entire idea. the only hope really is that it's just not going to be strong enough to make an impact for me to see it a lot on the ladder, which I hope. I don't like this. This has no reason to exist. It's bad.
We talked about this. We talked about this.
Yep.
We talked about Lady Wash. Marsh Spawn. 3 mana, 3/4 elemental battlecry. If you cast a spell last turn, discover a spell.
Vanilla stats, to be pointed out. It's also an elemental, slight upside there. Discovering a spell pretty good, and Shaman tends to cast spells. We've seen some more support for similar situations already, so I think it goes in a lot of those mid-range-ish decks / even control decks. Doesn't have a particular defensive effect, but discovering a spell is fine as a bonus
I like this
on top
card.
of the vanilla stats. Yeah,
It's I like the design of the card because it's like it has vanilla stats, it has a conditional upside, and the conditional upside is relatively strong, but it's rarely going to be crazy. It's like it's very nice, like decently balanced card.
It's the exact opposite of what is true for a card like Bamboozle.
Serpent Shrine Portal, 3 mana, shaman spell. We're going through this kind of by class. Deal 3 damage, summon a random 3-cost minion, overload 1.
So they're bringing portals back, huh?
Yes.
At least a bit. So that used to be about everything. You had Firelands Portal and stuff. Unstable Portal.
Well, Unstable Portal was the first portal, but like for a while they did Firelands, Moonglade. There was the Warrior one that gave you armor.
Right.
There was a bunch of portals that had an effect and summoned something, and it was all like the same number usually. So that's what this is similar to, yeah.
Yeah. This also very similar to Flanking Strike, of course, because I guess with a 3-drop you expect an average of about a 3/3 to a 3/4.
I would think 3/3, yeah.
And with Overload being worth roughly like a half to 0.8 mana or something, it's very similar to that sort of thing. Slightly less control, so probably on the lower side of it, so probably fine.
Mind you, it does say deal 3 damage, not to a minion, so you can go face with this.
You can go face.
Meaning that you can somewhat aggressively get your 3-drop and deal 3 on the turn, though it's very consistent. I think I'd just rather play a good 3-drop, honestly. Unless you go for the spell synergy or like overload unlocks, blah blah blah. I believe we talked about Rumbler, didn't we?
Yeah.
We talked about the Lurker, who is still not updated to say Beast, but it is a Beast, I swear, they said it.
It's gonna be
Torrent,
Beast.
we talked about Totemic Reflection, give a minion +2/+2, if it's a totem, summon a copy of it, 3 mana.
Man, JJ, our totem challenge is happening. We're getting there. They're gonna at some point print 14 more totems, and we're gonna make an all-totem deck, and it's gonna be glorious. So yeah, this goes with the base hero power of Shaman. Obviously, you could put this on your Snake Totem, on your Taunt. You get automatic value out of it because you get 4/4 in stats if you put it on a totem on anything for a 3 mana, which is fine. And worst case scenario, buffing a minion 4+2/+2, which can help you with a value trade or something. But I think you'll find plenty of uses of this. You're starting turn 5, you can hero power, put it on there, and you get 2 good totems.
It's decent, of course. All of the craziest totems are luckily not in standard right now. If you had something like Totem Golem, this would be insane.
Good Mana Tide. Why not?
I mean, yeah, Mana Tide, it's decent Flame Tongue. But the ones that actually had decent stats that weren't, that's of course the craziest. Vivid Spores. From an I give your minions Death Rattle, resummon this minion.
This is a good one.
It reminds me that there is a single target version of that in Shaman already.
Yeah.
And
Priest also does this a lot, obviously.
And reminds me of course, Soul of the Forest, I think, is the closest comparison.
Yeah. Isn't Grave Rune? Is that what it's called?
Grave Rune is the priest one, yeah.
The priest one, yeah. So
there is a Shaman one as well. I'm not sure if it's in standard. I want to say it's classic, but I might be thinking of Ancestral. But that is it, Ancestral Spirit. Right,
that's what it's called. Exactly. Yeah. So giving this to all minions is probably pretty good in most cases.
It's generally gonna be better, I would think, than Soul of the Forest.
You might play in aggressive Murloc.
And Soul of the Forest is pretty good.
In a deck that has one of the easiest times going wide, though. So Shaman doesn't quite do it as well as the Token Druid.
But in theory, this seems pretty strong. The question will just be if we see this actually being played. A Token Shaman was briefly a thing, but that's been so long ago that none of those cards are in standard anymore, so...
No one remembers.
I remember, goddammit.
Yeah, you remember everything.
Dark Glare, 3 mana, 3/4, Warlock Demon. After a hero takes damage, refresh 2 mana crystals.
So this makes a hero power free.
Yes.
Basically. 4 vanilla stats.
It turns Flame Imp into like Innervate.
It does. Wow. It's a very strong card. Potentially. This goes to Zoo.
I mean, also, yeah, this is not understated or anything, so...
No.
Yeah. I can see this.
It's the expansion of vanilla minions with good effects, with positive effects.
Enhanced Dreadlord. 8 mana 5/7 demon for Warlock Taunt, Death Rattle, summon a 5/5 Dreadlord with Lifesteal.
This obviously goes against the Zoo. It is defensive card. The value is good. I totally makes sense. It probably would go in Q block today if Q block were a thing. In standard, this would go in it. I think it's just a good control.
Maybe.
You have the Death Rattle, it's a big demon. You have the upside. You cube it. You get the guys, and then you pop the cube, and you get more guys with taunt and lifesteal.
The thing
it's
is,
like Void Lord in a way.
Void Lord is just better, I think. The tokens don't have taunt. They just have lifesteal.
They don't have taunt. They have lifesteal. So, still very strong.
And you don't really need that much healing because that deck had a ludicrous amount of healing already.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no, it's pretty strong. The question is just, will there be a control warlock that uses it?
Probably not in the standard meta we're looking at after the expansion.
Maybe some like Handlock could use it. I don't know though. Hand of Gul'dan. Whenever you play or discard this, draw 3 cards, 6 mana.
When you play it, it's obviously not great. It's pretty weak. When you discard it, though, I mean, why not, right? It's good value.
I'm trying to think if there's any good discard synergy that you could use it very effectively with right now.
I mean, there's never been really good discard because the mechanic fundamentally doesn't work very well.
But they did in the last year, I believe, print some like discard the lowest cost, discard the highest cost sort of cards.
Most of that came with Rastakhan's.
Oh,
so that's out.
Oh god, it's been that long.
That's when they launched it with Jacklick, but yeah.
But yeah, like even that stuff can't do it this well, so I don't think this card is good.
Soulfire. You have this and Soulfire, and you play Soulfire.
I believe we did talk about the Scrap Imp, but we did not talk about Kenrithad Abenlock. 2 mana, 3/2. Your demons cost 1 less. Pretty good. Death Rattle, shuffle Kenrithad Prime in your deck.
Vanilla minion with upside.
Yes. The Prime is an 8 mana 7/6 demon. Battlecry summon 3 friendly demons that died this game.
This goes into Zoo, my dudes. Once again.
Yes, it does.
You play it on 2, you play your 3 Flame Imps and Void Walkers and everything.
Yes.
And later on you res them as a last-ditch effort.
Of course, in
Very
Zoo,
good card.
In Zoo, this isn't the Prime isn't that crazy. It's still very strong, but
in Zoo, the base version is better than the Prime, but you'll take it.
If you do have the control deck and you have your like 5/5 lifesteals or your like 5/7 taunt summon 5/5 lifesteals, then the Prime is gonna go nuts. Absolutely. And the base form is still not horrible in that version.
It's gonna be a Blood Reaver Gul'dan sort of thing.
Yeah. Caladan the Breaker, also for Warlock, 6 mana 3/3, Battlecry, destroy a minion. If drawn this turn, instead destroy all minions except this one.
Boy. So this is one that you don't want to keep on your hand most of the time, because if you get the regular effect, destroy 1 minion, it's fine. But it's nothing special.
It's Assassinate. It's Vilespine Slayer. It's, well, without the combo. It's pretty good for 6 mana. It's Contract, actually. That's the comparison, right? Yeah. Unidentified Contract.
Correct.
Except that the upside of summoning a 3/3 is stronger than most of the Contract upsides.
Exactly. But this casting Twisting Nether as a battle cry is really strong, and it leaves itself on the board for 2 mana less. So optimally, you'd want to play one strong, though that is a considerable downside, especially for a control deck, which it would go into. So I guess it would balance it out.
Yeah, but again, since it is also with a base effect very strong, it's not a bad card either way. 4 mana 5/5 Rush a Demon, Battlecry, discard your highest cost card. That is how you're supposed to draw with the Gul'dan thingy.
Yeah, that's how you're supposed to discard. What was it? The thing of Gul'dan, the hand of Gul'dan, right? So, of course, if you pull that off, that's incredible. And does it go into Zoo after all? This and the Hand of Gul'dan?
I don't think the Gul'dan thing is consistent enough with just this.
Soulfire?
Well, Soulfire is very unlikely to hit it. But I think that...
It's exactly for the situations where you only have Soulfire and then this one other card and you reload with it.
Though I think that this card is pretty decent. I mean, 4-mana 5/5 Rush seems pretty strong, and the quote-unquote downside isn't necessarily horrible.
No, especially if you hit something. You get to control what you hit. So it might be something you just don't need anymore. Might be your Lord Godfrey and you're playing an aggro deck, or you're playing against another control deck.
Yeah, so this
Now,
definitely
Godfrey
seems to have a
rotates,
lot of potential.
Yeah.
Shadow Council we talked about. The Dark Portal we talked about. Unstable Fellbolt. 1 mana Warlock spell, deal 3 damage to an enemy minion and a random friendly one.
Or don't have a minion on board and just deal 3 to an enemy minion, which is best case, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that's the only case in which it's really strong. Otherwise, it might be decent.
Yeah, in that case, it's just exactly Holy Smite, which, of course, with the way it's worded, it's Holy Smite with a bit of a downside.
Oh, right, they changed Holy Smite, right.
Yeah.
I was briefly thinking of Arcane Shot Holy Smite, as it used to be. Oh,
yeah, regular Holy
Smite. I always thought that was interesting, right? Back in Classic, Holy Smite and Arcane Shot were already the same card.
Yeah, the exact same card, yeah.
Why, in your first 135 cards, would you print the same card twice for different classes? That's dumb.
I guess maybe they needed it. Well, I don't know. But now Holy Smite can only target minions also.
This is interesting. 3-mana warrior spell. Deal 1 damage to all minions. Repeat until 1 dies.
It replaces Warpath. Very clear, obviously. Warpath rotates with the Witchwood. I like that they have thought about it and that they're keeping it up. Because this is also single target removal. Right?
Yeah, but the problem is if your opponent has a 1 health minion, it's just...
Not so much. But
just
say
that.
they just have one really big minion.
Yeah.
It kills it for 3. Or they played their Dragon Queen and they played the 2 free dragons that came with it. You get to put a lot of damage on 2 of them and kill one.
This, of course, reminds me a little bit of kind of like an inverse Defile almost. Where Defile wants to kill every single turn, this wants to not kill at all. It obviously, the one that it most closely resembles is the one that used to deal 1 damage to random minion, repeat until 1 dies.
Yeah.
Bouncing Blade, I believe it was called. This seems good enough, for sure.
It seems good enough. It takes some experimenting, but you have tools to make it work.
And of course, it can kill a lot of minions at once, potentially, if you
get their health,
multiple minions at the same health. Blood Boil Brood. 7 mana 6/8 warrior minion with Rush. Costs 1 less for each damaged minion.
Goes well with things like Whirlwind or the aforementioned Warpath, if we still had it.
And the other one that we just had, the Bladestorm.
Yeah, the new one too. Damage a bunch of minions. I think for 6 mana, it's really good. Everything below, it's really, really good.
Yeah, it's probably gonna see use. We'll see.
Yeah.
Bone Chewer Raider. Battlecry. If there's a damaged minion, gain +1/+1 and rush, it's a 3 mana 3/3.
So we're building on the enrage, huh? Again, we're building on damaged minion.
And I can't help but notice that 3 mana 4/4 rush is pretty good.
It's very good. Go-Book-Light Tech sort of comes to mind. Chances of having a mech versus chances of having a damaged minion on the board.
I was going to say being a damaged minion. It doesn't have to be yours.
Probably pretty equal. You can make both happen if you design the decks around pretty well, so it looks like a good card.
It does look like a pretty good card, I would agree. Bulwark of Azeroth, we talked about. Corsair Cash. 2 mana, draw a weapon, give it +1/+1.
Now, this thing goes into Pirates hard way. I mean, you get your Anchor, your Arcanet Reapers. You would get your Livewire Lance, which is rotating out, but this is really strong in Pirate Warrior, and I want to definitely put it in.
Livewire Lance is not rotating out.
Is it not? Where's it from? Rise of Shadows?
Rise of Shadows, I think, but none of the Lackey cards rotate out, obviously.
Right. Oh, I thought it was from Boomsday because it made sense. But yeah, it must be Rise of Shadows then. So you can even pick that up from Corsair Cast. So.
It's Boom themed, but Boom was in Rise of Shadows.
Yeah, so it seems pretty good. I like it.
Imprisoned Gnark. 1 mana 2/2 demon for warrior. Dormant for 2 turns. When this awakens, equip a 3/2 axe. We know that one.
Which is just Fiery War Axe for 3, which you would get for 3 anyway, right?
Yeah, but you're only paying 1 mana for it.
You're only paying 1 mana, and it comes with a 2/2. It's just delayed. You don't get anything on turn 1. But aggressive idea for sure. And maybe it goes in an aggressive warrior deck, like Pirate.
Maybe it goes in the control deck because the weapon is decent to remove things, and this is a body that can attack things.
Yeah, it might.
And those definitely don't mind not playing anything on 1.
You gotta replace Eternium Rover and Town Crier the Warrior this time. So there's some spots that are open, so why not?
We talked about Blade Fist, I believe. Scrap Golem. 5 mana 4/5 mech. Taunt, Death Rattle, gain armor equal to this minion's attack.
Now, this is a card right up my alley, right? This would have been cool in the old school, the Rise of Shadows Control Warrior days.
But it would have been insane with all of the magnetic from Boomsday.
Yeah, and you get 1,000,000 armor, just put stuff on it, you put Zilliax and stuff, you put crap, and it helps you in several different ways. Sort of like Scrap Hound. But still, it's okay. It's not great as a base version. Because the 4/5 taunt, and then you get 4 armor is not awesome, but it's fine. You put stuff on it, it becomes better.
I'm trying to remember if there is a non-Boomsday magnetic from the throwback mechanics from Rise of Shadows.
I'm not sure. There might be, but we have to check that though.
Sword and Board. 1 mana, deal 2 damage to a minion, gain 2 armor. Pretty good.
It seems pretty good, yeah, I think so.
It's hero power and deals 2 damage to a minion.
Yeah, we mentioned Arcane Shot or Holy Smite, which is very similar. It only does to a minion, which makes sense, and you get the hero power with it. So
I mean, the thing is, if you're using the deal 2 damage in a control deck, you're using it for a minion anyways.
Exactly.
And
so
armor in a control deck is great.
Very good answer to Flame it.
Especially since you also have armor synergy in Warrior. Challenger we talked about, Alara we talked about, Blistering Rot. 3 mana, 1/2 minion, neutral, but getting to neutral cards now. At the end of your turn, summon a Rot with stats equal to this minion's.
So this obviously reminds us of the Ooze from Naxxramas.
Yes, Echoing Ooze.
But that was Battlecry, which means it did it once.
Yes.
This thing exponentially.
Not exponentially because the copy doesn't do this multiplying thing. It doesn't summon a copy, it summons a token.
Okay.
With
but
the
base one does it consistently.
Over. Yes.
So you play this, you buff it up somehow.
I mean, Echoing Ooze was 2 mana, wasn't it? So it's literally the same stats for 1 more mana, with the upside that it repeats.
Exactly.
And Drakari Enchanter synergy in Wild. If you are that kind of a person.
Mm-hmm. You're not.
Bone Chewer Brawler. 2 mana, 2/3 taunt. Whenever this minion takes damage, gain +2 attack.
Now this is also, of course, the whole enrage idea and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, vanilla stats with an upside. 2 mana, 2/3 taunt is a good card.
Yeah.
And with this, it's a particularly good card, and it's neutral. So note to that. Might go into some control decks.
Yeah, and of course, as you said, you can play this with like a Taskmaster or one of those effects where you get even more attack out of it.
Yeah.
Bone Chewer Vanguard. 7 mana, 4/10. Taunt. Whenever this minion takes damage, gain +2 attack.
Same idea, and I guess same evaluation. Now it's quite expensive. So 7 mana for just a minion is a lot. Though note and important for this one is that Spellbreaker is rotating out. That's significant in evaluating this minion in particular.
I mean, there is still a lot of silence effects, including Iron Big Owl and neutral.
Well, there's not a lot of. There's really not a lot of.
Well, I mean, there's silence, there's Master Spell. I mean, like neutral ones, there's just Owl, I believe.
Yeah, that's just Owl. Okay, I guess there's Plate Breaker, right? Silence a minion with taunt.
Plate Breakers remove your opponent's armor.
Okay, the other one, whatever it was, Shield Breaker. There's one that silences an enemy with taunt, but not necessarily a lot. And the effect, of course, is stronger the bigger the minion is. 410, you need 2 or more minions to kill this.
I couldn't help but notice that you can play this on 10 with the blade thing.
With what?
With the new warrior spell, the blade dance.
Oh, right. Right, yeah, it becomes huge.
So that is potentially, like, it clears another big minion that your opponent has, and gives you a huge minion on your side, so...
Yeah.
Of course, 10 mana for a 2-card combo that doesn't directly win you the game is not crazy or anything, but... Borrowing Scorpid, 4 mana 5/2 beast, Battlecry deal 2 damage. If that kills the target, gain stealth.
This is interesting.
Conditional stealth.
So, yeah, conditional stealth, but quite important stealth, I think. If it doesn't get stealth, it's not great.
Also, at least one class in the game currently has beast synergy.
Yeah.
I don't think Druid has much beast synergy right now. I hate that, by the way. Side note, I know this is way too long anyways, this video, but it seems like they print like one beast synergy card every year for Druid.
And then never anything happens.
Like, you have, like, in any given standard rotation, you have, like, 2 or 3 beast synergy cards in Druid. Not enough to play anything with it, but in Wild you might be able to build something. It's gonna be subpar because Wild is crazy, but...
Just 5 more years and there'll be something.
Disguised Wanderer, 4 mana 3/3 demon, death rattle summon a 9/1 Inquisitor.
Boy,
which is also
this against the right thing is tough because you find something that just can't deal with this immediately after, like with the death rattle token. You're putting 9 into their face on turn 5, maybe.
I think Sack Pact is gonna become a lot more popular. We have a lot of neutral demons. We have every class besides Paladin, I believe, gets a demon. Demon Hunter is gonna be very popular.
But Sack Pact's only a Warlock card.
Yeah, no, I know, but dude, with so many strong demons around, it almost seems like an auto-included Warlock.
We'll see how many demons there actually are gonna end up being.
Dragon Maw Skystalker, 6 mana 5/6 dragon, death rattle summon a 3/4 dragon rider.
Reminds me a bit of Rumbletusk Shaker, I guess, because it's just it's decent value with its stats plus the token it summons, slight understat it, delayed value. Seems like just an all-around good card to have and very strong in arena.
Yeah, it's 1 mana understated, it has a strong tribe, it has a good death rattle. Ethereal Aug Merchant, 1 mana 2/1. Battlecry, deal 1 damage to a minion and give it spell damage +1.
I really like this design. So you can do 2 things with this. You can put it on yourself if you want to cast a specific spell. You can also just use it to deal 1 damage. It's just a better Elven Archer.
I just remembered the fact that the new Warrior spell, of course, is also affected by spell damage.
Yeah.
Which also, this goes with the Warrior mechanics, of course. So you could potentially have a huge board clear there.
Yeah.
Like, if the lowest minion has, like, 4 health and you get it to, like, 3 damage, it's like, oh boy.
Exactly.
Felfin Navigator! We mentioned it earlier, it's also in Standard. 4 mana 4/4 Murloc. Battlecry, give your Murlocs +1/+1.
Yeah, so this is a Battleground, of course, and now coming to Standard also, then coming to Battlegrounds.
Actually, it's already in Battlegrounds, I believe.
Yeah, it is in Battlegrounds. I'm assuming it was designed for Standard and they just put it into Battlegrounds also. Seems maybe better in Battlegrounds than in Standard.
That's what I was thinking, right? It's not horrible, but I mean, it has very large stats for a Murloc, I might add.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest Murlocs that we had. I mean, it used to be like that Puddle Stomper was a big Murloc, you know? Well, not really, but like, yeah. Frozen Shadow
Remember
Weaver.
Mega Fin?
Well, yeah, but that's not a playable card.
No. Collectible.
Yeah. Frozen Shadow Weaver, 3 mana 4/3, Battlecry, freeze an enemy.
Any enemy could hit the could hit the hero. It's neutral. It's vanilla stats with an upside. It's not a terrible upside, not a terribly strong upside. So I think this is appropriate.
It also seems like
I don't love the freeze mechanic, but I think it's appropriate.
It also seems like a low-key replacement for Spellbreaker because for some uses of Spellbreaker, not necessarily the aggro break a taunt sort of use, but
No.
like your opponent made a big thing, but you can't make it smaller, but at least you can delay it.
Stall out, yeah.
Similar stats, one cheaper. Guardian Aug Merchant. 1 mana, 2/1. Battlecry, deal 1 damage to a minion and give it Divine Shield.
Same exact idea almost, like you get Divine Shield this time instead of spell damage.
This one seems slightly stronger than the other one.
I think so, yeah. Maybe we'll see more uses on your own cards with this one.
Ashes of 1 mana, 2/1. That's what this is.
Yep.
Prison Wildfang we did talk about. Infectious Sporling, a 1 mana, 1/2. After this damages a minion, turn it into an Infectious Sporling.
So this is potentially really higher roll-ish, right? Like, you run this into, for the sake of argument, say Ultra Sword, then Ultra Sword becomes this guy.
This is, like, better than Silence. It's kind of like a polymorph. But
Exactly.
it has to stick for a turn.
It has to stay for a turn. It doesn't have rush.
If you play it on 1, the attack isn't going to be hugely impactful.
But here's the other thing, though. Here's the thing, right? We're playing, say we play a game, right? We're on turn 9, right? You drop some big thing. Say you drop your Dragon Queen or something. I play this guy. What do? Like, if you hit your Dragon Queen to take this out, your Dragon Queen still becomes this guy.
Well, yeah, but I did just play 3 minions. One of which might be a Fairy Dragon.
If you did play it. But assuming you just played one big thing or 2 big things, still you don't want to sack any of those big things to become this dude.
Yeah, but we also have a lot of like deal 2 damage spells. We have Holy Smite, we have Arcane Shock, we have Frostbolt.
I wanted to just make the point that this also happens if it gets attacked, which is something that I think makes it a lot stronger.
Oh, actually, you know what I just thought of?
What?
The Warlock spell. I'm trying to remember how it's worded. Like destroy a friendly minion, deal its damage, deal its attack to an all.
Oh yeah, no, deal its attack damage.
I don't think that does it.
No, it doesn't.
Because Blade Flurry would do it if this was a weapon.
Yeah, it doesn't. But yeah, this just put it down. It's a very annoying card.
McTharden we talked about, Maiev we talked about, Mork Artificer we talked about, Overconfident Orc, 3 mana 1/6. Taunt, while at full health, this has +2 attack.
Now this is a 3 mana 3/6 taunt as you play it.
You know what this reminds me of a lot?
Proud Defender, Tar Creeper.
Tar Creeper, yeah.
Yeah, Proud Defender is the same thing for 1 mana more.
Well, the condition is different, but yeah.
Yeah.
Tar Creeper was the first one I thought of, but yeah. Of course, also Loki thinking of Light. Well, no, that's not what's called. What is it? The elemental, the priest one, Light.
Oh, Lightspawn.
Lightspawn. That's what it was.
The one that has attack equal to health. Yeah.
Where you can also you can damage it with a spell so that you don't take as much damage on the trade and stuff.
But this looks really good. I'll play this on 3. Like you have to run something into it, and it probably dies.
Yeah, and I mean 1/6. Those are very unbalanced, but there are effectively still vanilla stats.
Mm-hmm.
And it has an upside.
This is a really good card. Let it be said.
Replicator turnaround we talked about. Rocket Aug Merchant. It's an Aug Merchant. It gives it rush. Mm-hmm. It's a 1 mana 2/1 battle cry. You deal 1 damage to a minion.
Yeah.
And give it rush. So that's an entire cycle of those.
Yeah. Removal tool if you want it early, and you can give something big rush, which is really good. So it's almost like Goblin Lackey. You know?
I was about to say it's Goblin Lackey, but you can actually play it and it has better stats and a slight downside.
Yeah, and if you want to give it rush, it's probably going to trade to something, so you usually don't mind the 1 health.
If it doesn't already only have 1 health.
Yeah.
Rust Steed Raider. 5 mana, 1/8, taunt, rush, battle cry, gain +4 attack this turn.
So, similar idea. Of course, like, the big flashbacks is Amani Warbear, because you get rush and taunt.
I was actually thinking of there's one for Warrior, one of the Worgen that had like gain plus attack this turn and rush.
But it's you mean the 4 mana that's 2/5. Yeah, I know which one you mean. Militia Commander.
Yes.
Which goes with the Witch Queen. But this is essentially just a 5/8 taunt on 1 turn, which is really good.
But on your opponent's turn, it's going to be a 1/8.
It's going to be not 8 because you rush into something, but it's a good removal option for 1. So 5/8 rush isn't terrible just as it is generally. And for 5 mana, I think this is useful enough to be played. I think it is.
You have some rush synergies, although most of those rotate, I believe, with the Witchwood. You have some taunt synergies, little niche, so it's probably just
might be good. Might be good in arena though.
And of course, because it damages stuff very easily, some warrior synergies.
Yeah.
Rust-Worn Cultist, 4 mana 3/3, Battlecry, give your other minions death rattle, summon a 1/1 demon.
So,
Soul of the Murloc.
It's Soul of the Murloc, but with demons.
Soul of the Murloc, but with demons, and a 3/3 body for 2 effectively.
I guess that's pretty good. I'd want to play this in like Zoo Warlock. Backup sort of plan, you know. Seems kind of strong.
In Zoo Warlock, and I want to play this in very much Demon Hunter, with like the Illidari ones,
Swarm,
right?
With the Illidaris, right?
Summon 3 Illidari.
Right.
Give them the 1/1s to summon as well.
That's a possibility. Sounds interesting.
And you have demon synergies.
Yeah.
Rust-Sworn Initiate. 2 mana, 2/2, death rattle, summon an Impcast, a 1/1 Impcaster with spell damage +1. The Impcaster, I assume, is a mouse demon. Yes, it is.
It is a demon. So slightly less than vanilla stats, but you get a minion for it. And it's a death rattle, so if it was a Battlecry, it'd be really strong, obviously.
It's comparable to Harvest Golem, I think.
Yeah, with death rattle, it is, I think. Yeah, death rattle, I'm not so sure how important the spell damage will be.
It's literally Harvest Golem, but it's 1 mana cheaper. It has 1 health less. The token has 1 attack less, which means that effectively...
And the spell damage, which is probably marginal.
Yeah, so if you scale it, but it's not a mech, which is... but the token is a demon, though.
Yeah.
I think it scales really well to Harvest Golem. Scavenging Shavara. 6 mana, 6/3 demon, Battlecry, deal 6 damage, random split among all other minions.
As a Battlecry, that's pretty good. You want to play this obviously when you don't have much. It's more of a control tool in that sense,
yes.
So it's half a Reno, kind of.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, yeah.
It can help out. It's probably going to be good in arena.
It's definitely better than the Mad Bomber and the Matter Bomber and all that nonsense, because those hit your own face literally 2 out of 3 times.
Guaranteed.
This one, pretty good control tool. Oh boy, 10 mana, 7/7 elemental, Scrapyard Colossus, taunt, death rattle, summon a 7/7 Fellcracked Colossus with taunt.
If you ever felt like you absolutely needed to lock down the board, there you go.
Yeah.
7/7 taunt, summons not 7/7 taunt. 10 mana is a lot to pay. That's your whole turn.
It is an elemental, so you potentially get that going if you have elemental synergy.
I doubt it, frankly.
It's marginal. It's a decent control tool. If you have Death Rattle triggers, it's pretty good. Soulbound Ash Tongue. 1 mana, 1/4. When this minion takes damage, also deal that amount to your hero.
Wisely, this is not a demon, because that might break it a bit, I think. But we've had this before Wrathguard, right?
Yes.
The effect is, of course, what I'm talking about. 1 mana, 1/4, of course, is really strong. So does it still go in a deck like this?
I doubt it. It's a lot of damage potentially that you're taking for getting a slightly better Dire Maul.
Yeah.
I think there's better 1 mana 1/3s to be had. As a matter of fact, Zulok would just play Voidwalker over this. Like all day, every day.
It has taunt too, so.
Supreme Abyssal. We talked about this already, didn't we? I don't know. 8 mana 12 can attack heroes. It's a big demon. It's a big dumb demon for control.
I guess so. It doesn't have taunt. It's of course it's massively overstated, but it can't help you really push damage to the face. So it's not. I don't think this is as spectacular as it looks. I think it's very good.
No, it's meh. Terran Gorefiend we did talk about, however. Terror Guard Escapee. 3 mana, 3/7 demon, Battlecry, summon 3 1/1 Huntresses for your opponent.
If you can, so if you can deal with this well, it makes a lot of sense. Because you just get a highly overstated minion. But in itself, just to play this on an empty board, it's not fantastic. Because again, generally, you can weigh the tokens if you ran them into them. You still have a 3/4. That's usually not what happens. So the point will make use of the tokens better than just doing that, and it's becoming a less valuable minion.
To be fair, as opposed to a lot of other ones that do this, kind of like the warrior taunt that used to exist, this actually has the advantage that summons 3 whole tokens, meaning that if you don't exactly play this on turn 3, there's a good chance your opponent might have more than 4 minions on the board.
Maybe.
But it's very marginal. I don't think it's great. It's pretty decent if you have like a deal 1 damage to all enemies sort of an effect going, which we have seen in this expansion. But otherwise, eh. And finally, actually the last card, Blizzard, next time if you have a sorting for most recent, at least use it correctly.
Please.
Waste Warden. 5 mana, 3/3, Battlecry, deal 3 damage to a minion and all others of the same minion type.
Type means tribe, so I guess Murlocs, dragons, that's what that means. Beast, right?
Oh boy, Murlocs.
Yes.
This just really deals very well with Murlocs. Decently well with demons.
Yeah, this is sleeper. This deals really well with a lot of things.
I assume it doesn't work with Treants?
No, because Treant is not a tribe. But it works with all the other ones. So deals well with dragons, Murlocs, specifically Murloc. I think this will be a board wipe against the Murloc deck most times, right?
Exactly. The thing is, for dragons, like unless you play Plague of Wrath after this, which is still in standard, they're like dragons are like, what dragon dies to 3 damage? I know, fairy dragon, but like that's almost the only one.
Yeah.
I think one of the explorers does it, but like there's very few dragons that actually have that little health. But like Murlocs, this clears the board. Zulok with the small demons, this likely clears most of the board because they're gonna have like a battle mage or something.
Yeah.
But
and even with beasts, like it can be very useful.
Beasts, like it's like half, right? It clears a good amount of the beasts, and then like 1 or 2 survive with a lot of damage.
Yeah, already. I think this is going to be a pretty good card. I think a lot of people are going to play it, and it puts a definite cap on tribal aggro decks like Murlocs. We're probably not going to see a top tier 1 sort of aggro Murloc deck as long as this is the standard.
It's a very strong tech card. If something ever gets out of control, this can counter it. If stuff doesn't get out of control, then it, obviously, yeah.
It's like EMP Operative, which they printed just to make sure that mechs never go too crazy. Mechs
did get pretty strong. No one ever played EMP Operative.
Never strong enough for people to play EMP Operative, so clearly not that crazy. So it's supposed to just put it's called a regulator card, right? You just make sure that nothing goes absolutely nuts. And I like it. I think it's a pretty good inclusion. I really like the way that they made this. So I do like it. So that was a huge report. That was forever.
If you somehow watched throughout the entire thing, please leave us a like. That's the least you can do. We took a lot of time for this.
We put so much work into this. Yes. Stuck a lot of time in it, but that's all the cards for Ashes of Outland. The full expansion was revealed, and content has begun to drop already with the newest patch, and gameplay content will drop soon with the introduction series or question for the Demon Hunter, and then of course the expansion.
That, by the way, has 4 battles, which was also revealed at some point.
4 battles. Okay, so that's good to know. I assume we're going to be... I mean, I'm not assuming. I know that we're going to be playing that on this channel for you, obviously, on recording. So be prepared for that to come up. And apart from that, drop a like on the video. Let us know which of the cards you're looking forward to. And now that you know everything, know the entire collection, what's the archetype you're going to be making first? Are you looking at pure Paladin, sort of like Murloc Shaman, Murloc Paladin? What's the idea? You want to do something with Warrior or the Secret Rogue maybe? So let us know in the comments about that. And of course, how hype you are for Demon Hunter, because I think that's something everyone's going to try pretty early on. But if you want to hang out with us, stay notified about Hearthstone and stay up to date, you can join our Discord server. Gladly you're invited to join us. Link in the description. It's free, open for everyone, and we hang out there with all the real dudes from our community who also know quite a bit about Hearthstone. Some of them do, at least, so you can get help there if you need it. But you're very much welcome to join us, and hopefully we'll see you there soon. And until the next video, JJ.
That's it.
That's it.